more 3080 news in the Nvidia shame corner. Plus, I really am starting to hate my Joy-Cons and a little bit of possible news about the Switch Pro, or at least some more rumors. All of that and more on the Tech Summit Podcast, episode 36, in the St. Patrick's Day special. I'm Chris.
I'm Francisco.
And of course, if you are watching on YouTube, you have all of this information at the bottom of the video.
That is going to be the social media. And if you're listening on other platforms, do make sure to check out the description of said platforms, because you're going to find our social media down there as well.
Yes, all right. So, yeah, we are in fact posting this on St. Patrick's Day, and I suppose to celebrate just a little bit, we have over here Tullamore Dew, DEW, Irish whiskey.
Oh.
Just sort of,
oh, so that's why the cap is green and the label is green. Wow, I've missed so many references.
I mentioned it was Irish whiskey.
That's right.
Before we started recording.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
He hasn't even really started drinking yet.
No.
Anyway.
It's only been one sip, but
yes.
Continue.
Anyway, so let's start off, I suppose, with, once again, our brand new feature, the Stock Scoop. GameStop's not doing too hot.
Let's just say that I sold at a pretty good time.
So far, yes, you did in fact sell at a very good time. GameStop has been on a bit of it was stagnating for a few days, and it's been on a bit of a decline for the last couple. Namely, it dipped really hard today, to a point where it was around at the valley of around $173.
Wow. And those approaching 300 before, right?
It was over three. It was almost 350.
Almost 350.
Yeah.
It did actually get to that point. Wow.
Yes. Now, granted, it is sailing back up as we speak. It's back up to 202. It's actually rocketing back up at the current moment. So pretty good, but it is still under the opening. It's about $17 under where it first opened today, which again was itself at the bottom. One of the more interesting things was AMC, which rocketed up to around $14 while GameStop was still going down. So that's the first time that we saw these two stocks not going in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now they're back at going in the same direction again because AMC decided to tank a little bit. But
I was tanking a bit, but it was actually doing pretty well at around $14.
Yeah,
right?
It was going over 14, and it was a weird shift between the two. It's almost like they were starting to go in their own directions before, again, now kind of aping each other, as you can see here.
Yeah.
I get it, ape Wall Street Bets.
Actually,
that's one thing of note, tangentially stock related, but Wall Street Bets this past weekend got into not trouble, but they got into some good press because they recently started adopting a lot of gorillas at various zoos.
Really?
Yes, as part of the ape meme.
But okay, whatever. I'm not going to have this debate about species right now.
No, but because the whole meme for them is apes together strong, apes don't sell, blah, blah, very Planet of the Apes and stuff.
Got it.
And so, they started adopting apes and gorillas and stuff like that at various zoos.
Okay, apes and gorillas. Okay, because they are different.
Gorillas are the ones that we've mostly seen.
Okay.
So,
but they still have apes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they still have some apes.
Okay.
Either way, these are all nevertheless donations towards zoos. So, that's pretty cool.
So I guess we could say that they've been buying them?
Adopting basically just means that you give a monetary contribution to a zoo, and they sort of give you a slip back being like, hey, this animal is technically yours now by adoption, honorary adoption. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Yeah.
I mean, you do that with dogs.
They're not gonna ship you. They're not gonna FedEx you a gorilla to your house.
Why not? We're in the middle of unprecedented circumstances.
They're not gonna do that though. I mean, this is not the first time that Wall Street Bets has done positive things. When GameStop was really skyrocketing the first time around, they were donating a lot of money towards homeless shelters. Sending pizzas to actual GameStop locations for the employees.
That's nice.
Wall Street Bets they have their quirks and their weird things and certain things that are kind of just like, but at the same time, they've also done a lot with the money that they tend to get from these things.
Okay.
So all that's pretty good. We are approaching the alleged liftoff date of March 19th. I guess we're going to have some ideas on what's going on there when the next episode comes around.
Yeah.
But
I like to call it Doomsday. but I think we'll know
rocket-
what's gonna
The
happen.
rocket just blows up
Ye-
before it lifts off.
Yeah, and it just like explodes into a bunch
GameStop
of
just
pieces.
gets delisted entirely because the entire thing blew up. It just
Ooh.
we go from $200 to just off the market entirely.
I guess so, but we're gonna be able to talk about exactly what ends up happening there on the next episode because the next episode takes place after this Doomsday comes
yes,
about.
exactly. Uploaded 2 days after, recorded 1 day after. In any case, the weekend, so the market doesn't move. You know, Friday is the day, and then
Yeah.
it just stays frozen where it ends for until Monday. So
And speaking of the weekend, there was something regarding the Grammys they weren't happy about.
that wasn't tech related. That's not tech related. Don't even.
All right, but point is, he unfortunately did not win any.
He didn't get
awards, right?
nominated for anything.
He didn't even get nominated.
Not a single nomination.
That's insane.
Which, okay, fine. If we're going to be on this tangential little thing. I'm usually more of a movie box office watcher, but Billboard chart watcher. Weekend's Blinding Lights is apparently the first song in Billboard's history to be in the top 10 for an entire year straight.
I see. And this time,
We're not talking top 100. I'm talking top 10 the entire year. The song came out well over a year ago and still number 8 as of this week.
so he really should have been nominated at least, even if he didn't win anything.
The thing is that the Grammys tend to feel like a popularity contest where where the only songs that matter are the ones that are popular. And yeah, Blinding Lights has been the most popular one. So it's like if the Grammys are gonna be a popularity contest, how do you snub the prom king? It's
Fair,
like
fair.
that's kind of how it is. I mean,
The prom king.
hey, if you want to be taken
I
more
love that
seriously,
analogy.
if you want to be taken more seriously, then by all means, go ahead, and then they'll have more avant-garde stuff or whatever. But in any case, that's just a separate thing.
Avant-garde.
You know, the Oscar nominees also came out yesterday, and that was pretty decent. You know, obviously there's not been a whole lot of movies that came out for whatever reason. I guess Hollywood decided to take a break for a year.
I guess so.
Sonic did get snubbed though.
Really?
Yes, everyone was trying to meme Sonic because these unprecedented times led to Sonic being one of the last movies to show up in theaters.
Uh-huh.
And the Oscars do have that kind of rule, usually, that a movie has to play in theaters, specifically in Los Angeles, for at least a week to be eligible for the Oscars.
Interesting.
But in around June, July last year, they changed the rules to allow streaming movies that otherwise would have had theater releases,
Right.
specifically because they know they don't want to have Sonic as a Best Picture nominee.
Ah, come on.
Like they knew that if they stuck to their original rules, the nominees would have been The Invisible Man, Sonic, Bad Boys for Life, Onward.
I see. So I guess that's one way of manipulating the market. Onward
actually did get a nomination though for Best Animated Picture, which animation that's our kind of thing there.
Yeah.
Even though
that's more so in our what's it called? Ballpark?
yeah,
Okay,
it's
ballpark.
in our ballpark
Yeah.
playing fields.
There you
Either
go.
one.
A lot of things revolving games.
In any case, that award is pretty much locked up by Soul because Soul's been nominated, of course, has 3 nominations, including for Best Original Score and I think Original Song. But
Okay, interesting.
anyway,
Well,
that
yeah.
concludes that weird tangent of the stock scoop.
And the Grammy scoop / Oscar scoop.
The Grammy Graham.
There we go. But now we're actually going to be getting into some tech news now. So firstly, it's more so regarding the RTX 3080 Ti, which I've actually told a couple of people. Yes. Do it.
Just preemptive.
Yeah. It's not necessarily bad news yet, but we know that it will be bad news later. So it is essentially that the 3080 Ti people appear to be very sure that it is going to be releasing sometime in April, probably more so like mid to late April.
Oh,
But the 3080 Ti has been a card that is underrated while at the same time being overhyped in a lot of ways for potentially being such a powerful card. It's supposedly going to have about 20 gigs of VRAM.
cool.
And the suspected price was $1,000 at the base.
Less cool.
No, that's actually really good.
You think so?
Because- Yeah.
I mean, I understand that it's supposed to be almost kind of like a bridge between a 3080 and a 3090. And yeah, for that, sure, it's a great value, but $1,000 is quite a bit for a card in many instances.
it is quite a bit for a card, but like when you think about it, 20 gigs of VRAM, when the regular 3080 at the $700 MSRP only has 10 gigs of VRAM. So that's double the VRAM, along with other spec upgrades. And it is still leaning more so towards, like in terms of pricing, it is closer to a 3080 in general. But I would say that in terms of performance, it looks like it might end up being closer to a 3090.
Right.
While still, being a better value in a sense for gamers.
I might just be a little bit of a cheapskate here. I'll be upfront with that.
I mean, that's fair. Like $1,000, you're not wrong at all. $1,000 is a lot of money to pay for a graphics card, especially if you're only using it for gaming.
I also am thinking also in line of like, I guess I'm just sort of preemptively thinking in my head subconsciously that, okay, it says $1,000, so that means you're paying $2,500. Because you know exactly what's going to happen.
It is. It is going to get scalped
exactly
to hell.
What's happening.
Wait, like, do we still have that scalping button? There
yes.
we go. Yeah, let's lower that a bit. But...
that sound is particularly loud. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
That one is. I mean, I guess it's supposed to make you jump. It is a scary sound. So.
I guess so, but still, I'm going to shame Rode for making that sound effect so loud to begin with. It like peaks naturally when it's not supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, RTX 3080 Ti. That is the card that I wanted initially. If we can recall December/January when we thought that it was going to be a February card, and that ended up not being a February card, we instead just ended up getting a 3060 Ti.
So yes, it's not a February card. Obviously, we're past February.
Yeah.
So do we have a rumored possible release date?
For the 3080 Ti, it is just mostly like a release window of sometime between April, like mid-April to late April.
Okay.
But it does seem to strongly be leaning towards April in general. Like we shouldn't expect it past that time, at least like according to what these very confident rumors are heading towards. Yeah.
Now, so the card's already been delayed basically by 2 months if we're going by April. Card's already been delayed 2 months.
If we're going off of rumors, then
if we're going off of rumors,
yeah.
Do you think it is at all possible that because of these uncertain times and the chip shortage that is sort of leading in part to the shortage of graphics cards, do you think that could possibly hurt, the 3080 Ti's production and delay it even further to like a May or June?
I think it could, especially because Nvidia and AMD are both heading right now in that direction of, hey, let's make mining cards that are more expensive than the gaming cards that are just as efficient than those mining cards at mining. So
I mean,
it looks like they are using some of their resources for those mining cards that are not going to sell.
Bitcoin is currently still at 55,000.
Yeah.
That is actually about 2% increase over the past week.
I mean, it's been rising, yeah.
There was a point
it's
where...
been rising.
Thank you. There was a point... Actually,
there you go.
Louder. There was a point this past week where it was actually at 61,000. So...
Oh, so it's actually been declining from there. That's insane.
If you go off the course of an entire week, it's technically gone up from where it was at this exact time last week. But there was a peak this past week, and it's been dipping. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Or, excuse me, it dipped, and it's coming back.
Imagine having one Bitcoin right now.
Bitcoin is extremely volatile.
Yeah. However, if you do get your hands on one Bitcoin right now, like you would be set for quite a while, depending on who you are.
I mean, are you talking about buying a Bitcoin right now? Or are you talking about having a Bitcoin from years ago and then having...
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Like, imagine if you had a Bitcoin from, let's say, like 2 years ago when it went all the way back down, and like you haven't sold it just like for poops and giggles, and then all of a sudden, boom.
That would be good, but I was thinking more in terms of like, imagine if you had the Bitcoin from 2012, when Bitcoin was no value whatsoever.
Oh yeah, like from even further.
Then you're talking about a massive increase, because Bitcoin back then would probably have been like what, less than $1? No,
I feel like
maybe a little more than that.
I feel like if that were the case, then you probably would have sold when the GTX 1080 and 1080 Ti were being scalped for like crazy high.
For a lot of people, that probably was the point where they did it. Yeah.
Yeah, most likely, which is like 2017-ish, 2018-ish.
There's probably a lot of people who did, but I'm pretty sure that. I mean, I think we've actually seen it. There's actually a few people who didn't sell at that point, held on to it, and are obviously profiting even more now.
Yeah.
And of course, you have people who, they realize in the back of their head, oh my God, I actually had a Bitcoin wallet like way back in the day, and they go trying to scrounge around their old hard drives to see if they can find it. But
Just trying to
of
check.
course, that was a bit of a tangent, and that concludes once again the stock scoop.
Yeah, which again
Twice in
we
one
always
episode.
yes.
But yes, mining cards. You are correct.
Yeah, mining cards again. That is a thing that these companies are still strongly trying to head towards. And a lot of people, including myself, think that these cards are not going to sell very well, if at all, because like these gaming cards are already so efficient. But supposedly, Nvidia is going to cripple these gaming cards to be less efficient, specifically the cheaper RTX 3060 and 3060 Ti cards, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that front, but it was supposed to be the most affordable cards, so that, you know, miners wouldn't be as interested in those cards. However, that is still kind of a bad move in the sense, like, no one is going... How do I word this? People are not just going to universally be happy about everything, but this is one of those things where people just, like, are not going to be all that happy about it. Yeah. Everybody loses in some regard, unless all that you do with your card is game. In my case, I don't mind at all with my card. So, like, it doesn't matter to me. But what if I change my mind one day and I'm like, you know what, I want to use my 3090 to mine now, all of a sudden, you know?
Why would you? But
I mean, like, just because, like, I had a bad day. I had a little bit of a little too much of St. Patrick's Day celebratory beverages.
I was going to ask, do you want a little bit more?
I'm not really done with what I have, but I will absolutely take some more.
You know, pour a little bit during the actual podcast. Just do
Yes.
a little bit more.
I mean, it's just apple juice.
Yes, kids, this is apple cider.
Mr. or Mrs. Algorithm.
The fizzy apple cider.
Yes.
Except it's gone a little flat, unfortunately.
Aww.
Such is the nature of the beast.
Yes. So, our RTX 3080 Ti, I am still more or less excited to see it actually come into the market, but we all know that it is just going to get bought out because it doesn't seem like Nvidia really cares all that much about securing their website to the point where people actually have a buying opportunity, a buying chance.
Yeah.
So we can pretty much say that, yeah, that launch is still going to be a disaster.
It's very much going to be almost like, I know people say paper launch. I like phantom launch.
Phantom.
I like phantom launch.
Time to rendezvous. Hold on. What are we ending this?
I can't. See, that's the thing. There's no. It doesn't have the same pop to it.
Well,
you know, as opposed to damn.
Yeah, that used to be a thing. But you know what? I am so happy with making that sacrifice at the end of the day. Fair enough. And soon you won't have to censor that, will you?
Ah, yes, that's right. You have to announce that at some point.
I will.
You do.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep teasing it until it comes out.
Stay tuned for more info, guys.
Of course. Now, second bit of news.
Also, just real quick.
Yeah.
Referring to the audience again, breaking the fourth wall a little bit.
Okay.
Hey, Josh.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
Foolish Swami, shout out to you.
Please tell me you've been doing the time codes for him.
I haven't. I'm going to start this
episode.
episode.
Come on. Do the time codes.
It's okay.
Nice.
I'm going to tag him specifically on Discord or something.
You have to do the time codes.
I will.
They actually make sense, especially when we have multiple subjects like this one. Like, you could put a time code right now because the next subject is...
Joycon Drift and Switch Pro news, sort of.
Yeah. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, let's actually start with the Switch Pro, and then we're going to move on to the Joycon Drift, because I know that you have a lot to say in that regard.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joycon Drift is going to be a bit more of just like a sort of small little rant. Not even a big one, but it's like a small little rant, if anything else, whereas, yeah, Switch Pro is actual news. So
yeah.
Let's bring us to the news.
Hey, we only preserve that for the stock scoop.
I know.
Yeah, okay. So, Nintendo Switch Pro. It looks like it is still becoming more and more of a possibility, considering that, again, Nvidia, like, we actually have been seeing more articles about the current Nintendo Switch's Nvidia chip being discontinued,
Mm.
and it looks like it's going to be in favor of another chip being developed instead, which is what Nvidia tends to do usually. So like it sounds like we are going to be getting an upgraded Switch because there's no way that we're just not going to see any Switches being manufactured anymore, considering how well it's selling.
Yeah, no,
you know?
easily,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I'm not saying that a Switch Pro is guaranteed. For all we know, it could just be called a Switch 2, but it is unlikely. I don't think it's going to be a whole new generation Switch. I just think that it is going to be the Switch Pro and upgraded Nintendo Switch.
I mean, a whole new generation of Switch would not be called the Switch. If you're talking about like the next generation of Nintendo consoles, you know it's going to be named something else entirely.
I mean, it could be Wii U, DS, 3DS.
I want to think they've learned a little bit though.
Well, I don't think Nintendo is that perfect.
3D Switch.
Yeah, but
I want to think that they've learned their lesson on that one a little bit when they realized just how much of a failure it was.
Well, I mean, the issue is that they called it the Wii U, which, again, like, people thought that it was just going to be an add-on to the current Wii.
Exactly.
Because of that. But, like, they don't have to call it the Switch U, you know?
You know, so it's probably going to be a different name. Your battery's dying.
It's fine. It's all good. I'm just going to close my iPad because we know everything that we need to know
have
right
all
now.
the information.
We do. We know it all.
We don't have any of the information.
This is all opinion based.
We can pretend that we have the information.
Yeah.
So like the Switch Pro rumors seem to constantly be coming up, and I'm still kind of skeptical. Like I feel like a lot of these rumors and leaks are actually just bogus because Nintendo seems particularly prone to a lot of bogus rumors and leaks.
I can agree with that as well. However, like we did see a lot of Switch Pro rumors actually coming up as early as 2018. Like just a year after the Nintendo Switch launched. But this time around, it does seem like it's a lot more serious, especially with a lot of things coming in line.
Is it not possible, though? The reason why it's coming up a lot more is just because people are kind of hoping for an upgrade. So naturally, people are kind of preying on that and being like, guys, I data mined Nintendo. And I found out all this information. Switch Pro is going to be 4K native, even when handheld, and it's going to have 2 screens, like the DS.
Oh, gosh. Metroid 4 leaked. It is coming out this year.
It's going to be a double Switch.
The double Switch.
And it's also going to be shaped in a more sharper, streamlined form factor. It's going to be the double Switch blade.
Jesus. And the speakers are going to be front-facing. We're going to get surround sound.
You need 3D audio.
3D audio. Powered by Bang & Olufsen.
And one of the launch titles is going to be GTA 6.
Whoa.
Exclusive to the double Switch blade.
Yes, the dual Switch blade. I love it.
So
I love it. I absolutely love it.
So, what I'm getting at basically is that there always seems to be rumors and leaks when it comes to Nintendo products in general. Every single time we get a Nintendo Direct, there's always someone who's like, oh, I know everything's going to be the Direct, and then it turns out to be mostly bogus.
That is true. Like people always
happens.
tend to be wrong about the Direct.
It always happens. So I'm a little bit skeptical when it comes to more concrete. Although I can believe 720p OLED, I can believe that.
I mean, it was confirmed, pretty much, that is going to be an upgrade. Because like somebody from Nintendo was on an interview.
No, I mean like I can believe that in the sense of like it being that, as opposed to other people thinking that it's going to be like upscaled 4K or even 1080p.
No, yeah, honestly, upscale 4K, I don't see that happening.
I can see the best I can see upscale 4K being would be like in docked, handheld.
I still even in dock mode, I still really don't think that that's going to be the case unless they're going to have some kind of crazy dock included that pretty much behaves as like an external GPU, but that's highly unlikely.
I see what you're
especially if they want to keep it at that $350 to $400 price tag, which I really don't think it's going to be $350. I think it's going to be $400.
Right.
Straight out of the bat. I mean, what do you think in terms of pricing?
350, 400 does seem relatively on par. See, normally I would have thought that maybe you just drop the price of the regular Switch, but the Switch Lite already exists as that lower cost alternative. So honestly, it actually wouldn't surprise me if they went the way of PlayStation, and when the Switch Pro ever does come out, if/when, they discontinue the original Switch, and then you just have the Switch Pro or the Switch Lite.
That is a possibility. That could happen. But I actually see the Switch still prevailing for at least a little bit longer. I mean, I do see your point because they did, after all, discontinue the current Nvidia chips that go into the current Nintendo Switch.
Mm.
So that, you know what, you really might be onto something, but it does seem like it is.
So my thing is they discontinue those chips, but is it not possible for them to still manufacture those chips exclusively for this one company that already has a contractual obligation with you?
That's really hard to say, but I also am leaning towards them not manufacturing it at all.
Right.
Yeah. So if anything, either the current Switch might actually just end up having a totally different chip, like who knows, maybe it is just running Ryzen, and it ends up being more powerful than the
Right.
than the current Switch Pro.
I get that.
At that time, imagine that. Like that just ends up happening. It's like, oh, they went with Ryzen. Ooh, bad news for the Switch Pro. But
It would be a little sketchy, yeah.
yeah, it would be. But with that said, I do think that is going to be pretty interesting, and I very much look forward to seeing what the Switch Pro is going to be like. If it ends up getting announced to be released this year, I will very much be on the lookout for it because I would love to make a video for it on the channel.
Right.
I think a lot of people would be interested in that, and if you are, to make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments. But speaking of the Switch, we do have some complaints, don't we?
A little bit.
Okay, well, go
Just
ahead.
a small little bit. Hold on.
He needs a bit of a top-up. Okay, go ahead. Pour your heart out. And remember that the censor button is right here. It's colored in orange.
I think you're overestimating how angry I am about this. I'm really not.
Okay.
Oh, it goes down so smooth. This
The apple juice.
recommended apple juice for adults.
Mm-hmm.
Very recommended. If, other people like the apple juice brand Jameson, but I actually like this quite a bit.
It is pretty good. It is actually pretty sweet as well.
It is very nice. Very affordable, too. It's not too much more than Jameson, but
Right.
in any case. So Joycon Drift. So obviously Joycon Drift has been an issue for ever since the Switch launched. People have been complaining about Joycon Drift.
Mm-hmm.
But at least for me, it hasn't been too big of an issue. Like maybe every now and then, like playing Breath of the Wild, I'll have like a small little thing where like Link starts slightly moving in this direction.
Oh,
And
well, that's not good.
No,
That's not
it
good.
hasn't been too bad though. It's usually been pretty manageable.
Okay.
The problem is that
Has this been in handheld, by the way?
usually,
Oh, that's not good. That's pretty bad.
well, nevertheless though, that's Breath of the Wild. That hasn't been too bad though. I've been able to work through it. Obviously, I'm pretty sure this surprises nobody who actually knows me here who might be listening to this. The game I play on Switch the most is Smash Bros.
Right.
Which, if I'm playing it docked, then I'm playing with a GameCube controller, so it's not an issue at all. But even playing handheld, I don't really experience drift at all. I don't.
Okay.
I never feel drift. Same thing with most games. Like Binding of Isaac, I don't feel drift in Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
Like that. But there is one particular game that I started playing recently, or started replaying recently, and that's Fire Emblem Three Houses.
I feel like Joy-Con drift in this instance shouldn't really matter.
You would be surprised just how much it matters when you're trying to navigate the monastery and you just keep slowing down to a complete crawl, if not stop. Like,
That's annoying.
the Joy-Con drift has felt more prominent than ever playing Fire Emblem. And no, it is a problem too, because there will be a couple of times where maybe like I select things with the analog stick,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm actually in battle. And I'm, when I'm in battle, and you're in the actual tactical view, I tend to use the directional buttons.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to use the directional buttons, and all of a sudden, here comes the Joy-Con drift with the analog stick, thrusting me up to the top of the map.
Oh.
It actually happened to me yesterday, no joke.
Yeah, that sounds annoying.
I was controlling a character, and I'm like, all right, now I'm going to attack. But the Joy-Con drift went up, and I ended up hitting A, and then it ends up just ending the turn for that character. So I have to waste one of the time reversal things just to make sure that Hubert actually does something.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're playing as the Black Eagles.
Yes,
right now, right?
I am Black Eagles.
Imagine if that were like a football team.
I am Black Eagles.
Woo.
Don't at me. But yeah, so
Yeah. Go
in
ahead.
any case, Joy-Con drift has become way more of an issue now that I've started playing Fire Emblem.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm going to have the same issue with other games. I don't know if it's going to become worse with other games now that I'm playing now, but I have no idea. But there is that sort of temptation of like,
I mean, the fact that this is an issue for you at all with like Fire Emblem, a fully turn-based game, like I couldn't imagine how it would be like with an action game.
It is outright affecting my ability to play the game. And you know what's, you mentioned action game. It's funny because not too long ago, I was playing Bayonetta 2. And keep in mind, Bayonetta 2, of course, is a game that requires precise movements and stuff like
Especially
that.
if you want those achievements, am I right?
If you want anything higher than a Stone Award. Oh no, what a day. But but yeah,
Yes.
I was playing that. Didn't really have too much of an issue with drift.
Interesting.
Didn't have too much of an issue. Every now and then Bayonetta would kind of just, again, walk backwards a little bit, but it was never too big of an issue. Fire Emblem, on the other hand, Byleth will actively stop. Like, I'll be
Did
trying.
you name him Byleth?
Yeah, I just went with the default name Byleth. What am I supposed to do? Name him after myself?
I mean, I called my Nebula because that's
like-
usually like my gamer tag.
Like, it'd be kind of weird if, like, I'm going around the monastery and you have, like, your Hildas, Mercedes, all those characters, and all of a sudden you just have Chris. It's like, it's just, no.
I married Hilda. If I'm going to, I guess, speak in greater detail about that.
So I have not gone far, like, way back in the day when I was playing the game the first time. I didn't go very far enough to reach even the time skip, let alone think about marrying anyone. Now, obviously, I'm still very early on, so I'm not even considering that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
I'm just sort of going through the game, grinding people out, raising the support levels and stuff like that. Someone's gonna spoil this on like the comments section. I hope not, but
That will get deleted if it happens.
and if you spoil it, I'm gonna kick your butt. I'm leaning towards Lady Rhea. So
Rhea. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Fair.
I mean, she has a S support, so I'm guessing that is actually a thing that can happen. But yeah, so that's the current trajectory that I'm currently leaning towards.
So let me tell you what happens. Exactly. Don't worry.
Don't.
I just like to tease you like that. But yeah, like Lady Rhea, she's great.
I
She's cool.
was also considering Dorothea, but I don't know. Her little plight of like, I want to get married so I can live comfortably is just kind of like, it feels like it's a little too on the nose.
She changes later. They all,
I imagine.
like develop with.
I imagine
the
they
time
all
skip, I
change
would say. Yeah.
Any case, Joycon Drift. So let's not talk about the Fire Emblem talk, but Joycon Drift it's a bit of a bother. Like, I know a lot of people have experienced it for a very long time, and it's way worse. But by the way, I just poured. Do you want some more?
I'm okay.
Okay, good. But in any case, yeah. So Joy-Con Drift has been a huge issue for a lot of people. I am starting to experience it now. I do feel like whatever upgrades do happen for the Switch Pro, fixing the Joy-Con Drift problem needs to be a priority. I know Nintendo spent a long time not even acknowledging that it was an issue.
Yeah, they've gone through class action lawsuits. Like it has been a big deal.
I know recently. I remember hearing recently that they finally acknowledged it and that they'll like accept repairing for it.
Yeah,
But
like for a while they did accept like you sending it over, and then like they would repair it for free and that kind of thing, or at least like replace it if anything.
right.
Which is cool. It's great. It's probably more than what Sony would do.
It actually makes me wonder if I'm probably way past warranty because my Switch is a little over 2 years old now.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm pretty sure I'm past warranty, but
I bought mine from a person that bought it on release day, so
Actually-
mine is 4 years old.
no, 3 years. 3 years.
Okay.
Excuse me, because I'm over here thinking about like when Smash came out, but no, I had the Switch before that. I remember getting the Switch with Mario Kart before that, so
Got it.
I think end of 2017. So,
Mhm.
In either case,
Closing thoughts on the Joy-Con Drift.
it's a big problem. It needs to definitely be fixed. I'm considering maybe getting new Joy-Cons, especially because my Joy-Cons, you've seen it myself. My Joy-Cons are just the standard gray,
Ew.
and it would be nice to get some color variety. Maybe the Splatoon ones, the green and pink.
I did have the standard gray ones, but I ended up swapping out the shells for white ones. Haven't regretted it
I was
at
gonna
all.
say too, like, I could also just apply shells on it, but
Yeah, like if you want. And if you're not confident doing it, I can do that for
the
you.
problem, the biggest problem, really, is just that the Joy-Cons cost so much. Is the problem.
Yeah, they tend to be $80.
Was
I mean, they do go
80?
on sale.
I was thinking 60, 70, but
60, 70. maybe they have gone down in price, but like a set of two are supposed to cost like $80, at least at MSRP, from what I
Right.
remember.
Mhm.
Yeah. However, yeah, Joycon Drift is bad. No need to really
that more
clarify
than
that.
anything else, that needs to be fixed.
Yes.
When it comes to the Switch Pro,
Agreed.
absolutely needs to be fixed.
That is one thing, and hopefully battery life is something that actually gets fixed. Even though that is something that supposedly got doubled with like the refreshed Switch.
I mean, if you're going to an OLED screen, then you're kind of decreasing the battery life right there. So
Are you actually increasing it? Like, isn't OLED easier to run?
I thought OLED was more intensive because it's a brighter, crisper image.
It is a brighter, crisper image. However, these are like, it is a totally different panel. I don't know. I think the apple juice is definitely getting to me at this point.
It
but
is a little, apple juice, again, recommended for anyone who is old enough to drink this particular brand of apple juice. Definitely recommended.
yeah, like the the sugar amounts are probably getting to me.
I
a little bit at
also
this point.
realized that we didn't do a whole lot about St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day.
I mean, I don't want to be stereotypical, you know. It's kind of the thing, like, oh, Americans trying to do typical Irish. Excuse me, I'm Irish, you know. I'm not going to do that. But
No.
nevertheless, you know, small little St. Patrick's Day thing. Obviously, we're still in unprecedented times. You probably should not be going out there for big parades or anything like that.
Yeah, so take it easy. You know, stay at home.
And of course, social
apple
media,
juice.
if you're watching on YouTube, is right at the bottom of the video.
Yes, and if you're listening on other platforms, do make sure to check out the description of said platforms.
Yes. Now, quickly, finish up.
Yes, let's finish up.
Cheers.
Cheerio.
Oh, go
With
ahead.
that said, this is Francisco.
And Chris,
Until next time.
good night. Travel well.
Apple juice wrap.